Welcome to Movie Rundown today. We are going to take a look at the movie Deus. If you're ready, let's begin. In the future, we encounter a dying city where a woman tells her daughter the story her mother told her, and then recounts her own death in a traffic accident while watching her daughter. Later, we see 6 people sleeping in tubes on a spacecraft. One of the women emerges from her tube after the message sleep mode ended and takes an elevator to a location. A man watching her from a security camera later observes the other 5 people also exiting their tubes. While the crew rests, Carla approaches a team member named Sci and tells him to rest, then listens to the conversation among the team members. Tez is treating Sci well, and Carla tries to gather information about the mysterious black sphere they found near Mars in the ship's cockpit, but becomes angry when she learns that there is no new data. When the other team members learn about this, they are also surprised. Meanwhile, Sci is surfing the internet on his tablet, and one of the crew members destroys an exhausted core. While Carla and the team talk to Vance, they explain that they found nothing inside the core and that the technology is insufficient. Vance then declares that the mission is over, since the technology is inadequate. As Carla returns to her room, she hears someone calling her, but she ignores it and goes to her room to speak with the manager. Suddenly, the power goes out in the spacecraft, cutting off their connection to Earth, and they learn that the source of the problem is the sphere. When everyone enters the cockpit and looks, they realize they are being pulled towards the black sphere. Carla listens to a voice signal from the screen in front of her and realizes that the message is the word Deus, meaning God. C arrives and tells them they need to leave. Carla agrees, but Sen objects and expresses determination to investigate the sphere. Carla goes to Sci and asks if he is okay. C tells her that the apocalypse is coming and mentions hearing voices. When Carla asks about the voices, Sci does not respond and insists they need to leave. Afterward, the team gathers and discusses whether the sphere could truly be a god, but they have different opinions. Sen watches all of this from a security camera. Carla later goes to her room and has nightmares. The other members approach her and ask if she is okay, and Carla says she is fine. Tez tells them that Sci has escaped into the depths of the spaceship, and they go out separately to search for him. They find Sci in a disturbed state, and immediately after, Tez encounters Sci while exploring alone. Sci assures Tez that there is no problem, and then kills Tez by stabbing him. Carla and Ulf hear this and rush to the scene. Carla arrives first, but after hearing a voice from her radio, Sci takes her hostage. When Ulf arrives, Sci tells him to stop and holds a knife to Carla's throat. Sen arrives and gives C a bullet to the brain, saving Carla. Afterward, Carla asks Sen if he knows something, but Sen says he knows nothing and only remarks that Carla is afraid of God. Carla states that she does not believe in God, and after cleaning the blood from herself, she says goodbye to Tez and returns to the cockpit. As they approach the sphere, Carla notices a structure inside, and they slowly descend into the sphere. When communication with Earth is restored, CEO Vance informs them that 10,000 alien structures have formed on Earth and orders them to investigate the sphere. Carla, Ulf, and Sean land in the sphere, and Carla tries to pick up signals but finds none. She looks down and realizes that the surface she touches is made of an unknown element. Then, she looks at the pitch-black structure and sees a light emanating from it. Ulf says, "I hope Sci was wrong," and they slowly move toward the passage together. Thanks to a signal flare, Ulf sees a symbol on top of the passage, indicating the boundary of existence. A welcome message comes from the passage, and a woman speaks on behalf of the Creator, warning them and offering help. The mystical woman tells Carla that if they pass through the passage, their suffering will end. But if they stay, they will perish with the impending apocalypse. Carla then sees an image of her mother and remembers the accident, followed by seeing her daughter Jess in heaven. As she runs towards her, she sees herself trembling on a bed and starts vomiting. Sen and Ulf assure her that she is fine. When Carla asks what happened, Ulf tells her that she barely made it out of the passage, unlike Sean. Vance contacts them immediately and asks what happened. Carla describes the golden fields and the incredible city she saw. When Vance asks if she saw anything else, Carla says she doesn't remember anything else, and Vance tells her to rest and ends the communication. Carla asks Ulf what happened to Sean again, and Ulf tells her that he died as a result of his spacesuit being torn, but Carla finds it unrealistic. As Carla and Ulf walk through the corridor, Ulf asks her if there are no cameras there and what she really saw. Carla tells him that she saw her lost family. Later, Ulf shares this with Sen, who expresses the desire for more information. Ulf quietly confirms this. While resting in her room, Carla hears an announcement that they will gather in sleep mode in an hour. She takes the knife she hid under her pillow and heads there. After looking at Sean's lifeless body, she sneaks into Sen's cabin and takes his weapon. Ulf approaches her, and she examines the secret files. As Ulf continues walking, Carla pulls out a gun and tells him that she has learned he is a perfect soldier. Although Ulf tells her that he has the real answers, Carla tells him to keep moving, and they go to Sen. Carla tells them that she saw Sean being killed because she saw him being shot. Despite Sen's attempts to calm her down, Carla doesn't believe him. When Vance contacts them and shows them footage of all the people on Earth trying to pass through the passage, Carla is surprised. Taking advantage of her distraction, Sen charges at her. Carla kills him but gets injured in the abdomen. Holding her wound, Carla points the gun at Ulf, but he calmly tells her that he won't kill her and wants to help with her injury. Reluctantly, Carla has no choice but to believe him, and Ulf genuinely assists her. While Carla is talking to Vance alone, she asks what all this nonsense means. Vance tells her that he hasn't discovered God, but that he could be God. When Carla asks what that means, she learns that these passages were actually death passages built by Vance. Knowing that the Earth will perish in 30 years due to the increasing population, Vance devised a plan to balance the population and kill 15 billion people so that 6 billion can survive. When Carla asks if it was a painful death, Vance explains that they instantly cease to exist and don't suffer. When Carla asks more questions, Vance reveals that her family's death was designed by him and that everything she saw and heard was implanted in her brain through a chip. Carla tells him he's a damn monster, and meanwhile, Ulf arms the core. When Carla asks him to turn back, Vance initiates the self-destruction process of the spaceship, and the ship announces that it will self-destruct in 3 minutes. Ulf gives Carla the manual control code for the spaceship, and Carla successfully enters the code, but Ulf tells her that he probably won't make it in time and will die. Reluctant to believe it, Carla waits for him for a long time. But just before the explosion, she separates the exploding part of the ship, thinking that Ulf is dead, and sits on the ground. At that moment, an announcement comes saying that 2 people are on the ship. Carla immediately goes downstairs, and when she sees Ulf, she smiles. They have some drinks together and discuss how only they can manually detonate the core. As they leave the ship, Ulf asks her to wait for a moment, and when Carla agrees, Ulf locks her in and tells her to go back and tell what happened here. Carla begs him not to do it, but Ulf tells her it's a fresh start for her and exits the ship. Carla starts crying, and Ulf slowly walks towards the destruction of the passage. Carla lifts the ship and leaves, and as she moves away, Ulf says, "A beautiful day, I'll have a proper drink with you, Carla Gray." Carla says, "I'll be waiting for that day," and Ulf destroys the passage with himself. After hearing the estimated arrival time to Earth of 7 years on the spaceship, Carla utters a curse and the movie ends. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking and subscribing to show your support. By doing so, you'll stay updated with future content and help us reach a wider audience. Your support means a lot to us.